Can you see my desktop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us start the class. Good morning, everyone. So today we are going into module 2. Already we have gone into module 2. So this lecture would be lecture 2.1 and today is 9th September. So already we have discussed certain things. So let us see whether we can start from there or not. Maybe I will use this space itself. So we had three different kinds of energy sources that we have mentioned. One is chip formation due to micro cutting.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir, I am not able to see the presentation.
then it must be something wrong with your network connection. Uh, who was it?
Sir Gajanan.
Can you see my desktop now?
No, sir.
Then what I would suggest is that you disconnect and connect once again. Are you using similar kind of network connection that you were using earlier?
Yes, sir.
Acha. And you are attending these classes through Microsoft Teams for most of the classes, is it not?
Yes, sir.
So others can see it?
Yes, sir. We are seeing.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So Gajanan, what I would suggest is that you disconnect and connect once again. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the first one. What is happening? So this was our first one. The second one we have mentioned is primary rubbing. And the third one that we have simply mentioned, we did not discuss anything, is plowing. So these three things we are going to discuss today. Gajanan, I have admitted you. Can you hear me? Gajanan,
Yes, sir.
can you see the video? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us go into primary rubbing. So what we have discussed in the last class is something like this. That if the grinding wheel is only rotating in this direction and it is moving in this particular direction, but this is 0. In that case, it will start from this particular point A and it will go to point C using the path AC. If VW is not 0, then geometrically it should start from A and it should reach point D using a path which is roughly this. However, we have also mentioned that that does not happen. It moves till this particular point. Let us name this point as B. This particular point D. Then it penetrates to D prime and then it starts to move in this direction. So primary rubbing occurs from A to D. During this particular rubbing portion, there is no chip formation. So there is no chip formation, no material removal. Chip formation starts from D prime. So now let us try to analyze this in a better manner. This much was discussed in the last class. I am just simply reminding all of you that what was discussed. Okay, now where do I go? It's this one. Now, primary rubbing is very much related to sharpness or bluntness or lack of it, that is bluntness of the grit. And this bluntness or its opposite, sharpness, is related to edge radius of the grit. Now let me draw a turning tool and in that turning tool this is one of the radius. This radius is R. This is typically 0.4 to 2 millimeter. This has been drawn on reference plane. So your cutting velocity vector is going towards you. This is a single point turning tool. This is very important. This is called nose radius. Nose radius is not with a bold knot edge radius. Then what is edge radius? Let us take a section of this particular cutter and that section is taken on orthogonal plane. If we do that, then what we get is something like this. This is your VC. This is your pi r. I am drawing a insert which is having negative rake, and there the rake surface and the flank surface, they are connected by they are supposed to be, we think they are atomically smooth, but they are not. there is a radius which is called edge radius, and this edge radius for a very sharp tool is 5 micron. For a not so sharp tool or a ceramic tool kind of thing is around 40 micron. So this is called edge radius, and bluntness or sharpness is related to this. Your sharpness would improve if your edge radius goes down. Why? As your edge radius goes down, your contact area goes down for the same force. The contact stress goes up. So if you have a grit like this, when it is trying to penetrate, the contact force for a same contact force Fn for same contact force Fn, this will go up if edge radius is less, that is grit is sharp. What would be the highest sharp grit or a cutter? When edge radius tends to 0. For a very sharp grit, edge radius would be very less. The razor blade that we use for shaving, they have a very low edge radius, and that's the reason they are so sharp. Now you might say that the included angle or wedge angle is also related to sharpness. I will not deny that, but for the same two cutters having same wedge angle but different edge radius, so this is a much more sharper one and this is a blunt one or blunter one. So this is the way we try to assess sharpness or bluntness of a cutter or a grit in case of primary rubbing. Now what happens in primary rubbing? Primary rubbing, I required more space, so what I will do is I will go back here. I'll go back here, and what can I do? Can I erase this stuff? No, I cannot erase them. I cannot erase them, so what I will do is yes, I'll do this and once again come back here. So as I said, this is starting from point A, going to D, then it is penetrating here to D prime, and then it is reaching this particular point B, and this was C. Now you might say before some time it was here, E, instead of being here at E prime. So force which would be coming would be proportional to this E prime or D prime. D prime. This E prime or D prime, we will call it as instantaneous deflection or lack of penetration, and we will use HI as this. So Fn would be proportional to this HI. Now what is sigma n? Sigma n would be proportional to Fn, and it would be function of contact area. So one may say that sigma n is a function of Fn by Re. Now whether this would be Re to the power x, what would be the value of the x, that we do not know. This Re to the power x is basically classifying or characterizing your contact area. If you have a sharp tool, then your edge radius would be less. For the same force, sigma n would be achieved at a smaller hi. Now Fn, what is it? It can be thought of as a stiffness constant Kn into hi. So sigma n is roughly Kn into hi divided by Re to the power x, and penetration will occur when this is more than the flow strength. For a given flow strength, if your Re is less, your penetration would occur at low value of hi. So when your hi is low or small, definitely your AD arc length is small. So your primary rubbing is less. So this is the concept of primary rubbing and some amount of analytical treatment. Now let us come to this energy independence of primary rubbing with respect to downfeed. This I am going to explain graphically. So this I am going to explain graphically. How would I explain it? This is A1. There is another situation where downfeed is bit more. How much more? Let us assume this is the second option and this is A2. So A2 is definitely A1. Forget about A2 for the time being. Here was your A. Here was your point B. This was C. Penetration occurred somewhere over here. Okay. Now this penetration has occurred at a distance at a point D. Whether your downfeed is A1 or A2, penetration would take place at D. Why? At D, what has happened? At D, sigma n is equal to the flow strength of the material. What is sigma n? Sigma n is nothing but Kn into Hi divided by Re to the power x. What is this Hi? Hi is D to D prime. So whatever is the value of A1 or A2, this would be arrived at exactly at D if you are not changing the grit or the work material. So what happens? Primary rubbing thus becomes independent of downfeed. What is the inner meaning? From A to D, Fn is varying. Why Fn is varying? Because Fn Hi is continuously varying. So Ft can be thought of as mu times Fn. So energy can be thought of as Ft into Ad. So this is the primary rubbing energy. So this primary rubbing energy, as AD is not changing, is also becoming independent, is not a function of downfeed. So this is a very important concept that you have to understand. Primary rubbing energy, I am not saying specific energy, this is primary rubbing energy. It is not specific energy, the total energy, it is becoming independent of if downfeed. It is not a function of downfeed, rather it is a function of stiffness of the system, it is a function of the edge radius of the system. It is not a function of this. Now one might say, those who are very Puritan mathematically, because just now I have mentioned that your Fn is varying, so that means Ft would also be varying. So this has to be integrated from A to D. So that kind of thing would come. So to be very honest, it would be something like integral Ft, if this is the S axis, Ts is varying from A to D, that kind of thing has to be done. But whatever you do, this energy, which is the primary rubbing energy, would become independent of downfeed. Now let us come to ploughing. What is ploughing? Ploughing, you might have heard with respect to a term which is an with agricultural activity. So just before doing paddy plantation or a wheat plantation, you have to plow the earth. So if this is your mother earth, you will take a plow which would have a shape like this, and if you are really in a rural environment where you do not have tractors or anything, or in that particular case, your plow will look like this. Your plow would look like this. Where is my pointer? Your plow would look like this, and it would be taken in this direction by an animal. I have seen different kinds of animals being used. Typically we only get to see the bulls, but if you go to Himalayan region, there they would be also using horses and all. Even in a tractor you would have something. This movement, if I say U, this U is coming towards you in this diagram, and when it comes towards you after it has been plowed, Mother Earth will look like this. That means the material which was here, they would not be removed, but they would be displaced. So ploughing leads to sidewise displacement of the material. If you come to grinding, how does it look like? I am erasing everything. In grinding, it looks something like this. Just now we have shown that this is a grinding wheel, this is a grit in front of it, and the grinding wheel is rotating in this direction. And the grit moved exactly in this manner. So A, D, D prime, B, C, and this was your VW velocity, and in this direction was your VS velocity. When we were doing ploughing, my viewpoint changes completely. In this particular diagram, my VS is towards you and because of ploughing, what would happen is material would be displaced on the sidewise direction. So your VW is in this direction. So this is the plowed material. So this is your plowed material. So what is the takeaway? The takeaways till this particular part of the lecture is that energy of primary rubbing is not a function of A. This is rather constant. This we have shown in the previous slide. Similarly, for energy for ploughing, I cannot write it so emphatically. It is a weak function of downfeed. It is a function, but it is a weak function. However, we would assume that ploughing energy is also constant. We will assume this for ease, for sake of convenience. It is not exactly a constant. It is a weak function of downfeed. So if downfeed increases, ploughing energy increases slightly, but for our benefit, we will assume this to be a constant. And already we have shown that this is also a constant. With these two things in our belt, we will try to see how the treatment develops. So now we have three phenomena. One is cutting, one is primary rubbing, one is ploughing. For cutting, please recall, PZ we used as this is the force. So chip formation energy would be proportional to the force, or it would be equal to PZ into distance that it has traveled. So definitely chip formation energy is a function of chip load. In case of turning, my chip load is T into S. In case of grinding, this is a function of downfeed. Why is it a function of downfeed? This is a graphical depiction of chip load. This is your A1. If it increases to A2, definitely your chip load is increasing. So we would say this is a function of A1. So we have three things. One is ECH, which is a function of A, EPR, which is not a function of A, that we have demonstrated, and E ploughing, which we have not demonstrated, but we will assume this is not a function of A or very weak function of A. With this, let us see what we can do. For doing that, I need space. I will not go to the next slide. What I will do is that I would use the eraser and create some space. Before that, let us emphasize certain things. This is certain thing which has to be emphasized, and this is another thing which has to be emphasized. And let us see how we can go forward. So, energy in grinding. This is energy in grinding. What it is not? It is not specific energy. What is specific energy? Specific energy is power divided by material removal rate. So this is not specific energy, this is energy in grinding. This energy in grinding is ECH plus EPL, that is ploughing energy, plus EPR. How do I get from energy to specific energy? Roughly, specific energy can be related to energy by this particular term. So specific energy would become ECH by A plus EPL by A plus EPR by A. This particular term would have a particular nature and these two terms would have another nature. Let us go to the next slide and see. What was your ECH? ECH was a function of A. So this one we can say is not a function of A, it is independent. What is this? This is basically UCH. What is UCH? Specific chip formation energy, which was calculated in one of the previous class as 15 joule per millimeter cube. This number would be very near to it. It may not match because I do not recall. What about EPL? EPL was not a function of A. As because it was not a function of A, EPL by A, which is roughly specific ploughing energy, becomes a function of A. Same can be said about EPR by A, which is UPR, which is a function of A. So what becomes your UCH? UG is UCH plus UPL plus U primary rubbing, and these two quantities, they are function of A. In fact, these two quantities, their nature of functionality is EPL plus EPR by A. So A appears in the denominator. Now, after so much of mathematics, I'll give a social example. In your answer script, I do not want this social example. Please note that I have not yet explained this. What are the two things I am trying to explain? UG is very large. We have already seen UCH was large. It was around 15. In our calculation, UG we have used as 35 joule per millimeter cube. So there was a gap of 20. How do you explain this 20? That I am going to explain. Another thing I have not mentioned at all, that UG gradually decreases as you increase A. That has been depicted here. These are the two terms I am going to explain. For doing that explanation, what I would like to see, I have been trained by one of our junior faculty members. So he said that you try out certain things. So I'll try it out. So I'll go to Teams and I'll request everyone, those who are present, to kindly enable their video. Please enable your video. Okay. So let us assume that you are going to a mithai shop. And in that mithai shop, there is something which is called table charge. What is table charge? Whether you, and mithai also I do not take mithai, I have medical issues, but I have a soft corner for rasgullas. So I'll take the example of rasgullas. Say one particular rasgulla is around 10 rupees. So Durganand goes there. One day he doesn't feel like rasgulla, but because of his habit, he goes to that mithai shop and he is prepared to pay the table charge. Table charge is 50 rupees. So he goes there, sits down in the table, chit-chats with the waiter, chit-chats with the malik and pays 50 rupees and come back. What is the specific cost of Rasgulla? I will not talk about. Specific cost of Rasgulla would be 50 divided by 0. It would be a very, very large number. Next day, Durgachand goes along with who is beside him, Gajanan. And Durgachand takes one Rasgulla. Gajanan is a very strange kind of chap. He thinks, okay, Durganand is going to pay, so I will take 2. So altogether they take 3 Rasgullas. So it is 30 rupees. Table charge is 50. So 80 divided by 3. So that would be around 27 rupees or so. The specific Rasgulla cost is coming down. Last day, Durgachand gives a treat to everyone, but with a condition that everyone can take only one. So 16 of you go, take 1 Rasgulla each. So it is 160 rupees. Table charge remains 50 rupees. Table charge does not change. So it is 210 rupees. So 210 by 16 becomes 13.1 rupees. So as you can see, as the consumption of Rasgulla is increasing, your specific grinding energy or specific cost of the Rasgulla is decreasing. And it is gradually reaching that 10 rupees value. What is that 10 rupees value? That is equivalent to your specific chip formation energy. That has to be spent. If you want to have Rasgulla, you have to pay for it. And what is that? 50 rupees. 50 rupees is equivalent to summation of EPR and EPL. If you are doing grinding, there might not be any material removal rate. Despite that, you have to pay it. So I would request you once again to switch off. Let us go back to our presentation and see how does it feel like. So what is happening here? This UCH is the specific energy. So it has something like this ECH. This is proportional to A. That means as many as your downfeed increases, this guy also increases. But that it gets divided by A. Why? Because MRR in grinding is VW, BW into A. So A comes in the denominator. So this is equivalent to your, as your consumption increases, as your material removal rate increases, this guy would increase. But its specific cost would remain same, which is rupees 10. Whether you take 2 Rasgullas or 2000 Rasgullas, specific cost is not going to go down. However, total cost would increase. What is this quantity? This quantity is your table charge. Whether you are grinding at 10 micron or 300, 200 micron or 20 micron doesn't matter. This table charge, the total energy remains constant. However, this table charge gets divided by A. That means number of downfeed that you have given, number of Rasgullas that you have taken. So that is the reason. So how do I explain this? UG is very large because you have component of EPL and EPR. These are non-productive energy components which are to be spent, and they get divided by a small number of downfeed. Thus, when your downfeed, thus as such in grinding, this is large. Now let us come to this particular graph. How is it coming down? It is coming down because towards smaller value of A, contribution of ploughing and contribution of primary rubbing are more because A is small. As A increases, these two quantities EPL and EPR, they remain same, but their contribution gets smaller and smaller because you divide by a larger A. So this is the concept. So once again, what we have explained is as UG increases, UG would decrease as A increases, and as such why UG is large. It is large because you have primary rubbing and ploughing. Both of them, they are present. They are they do not produce material removal rate, but they consume energy, leading to higher value of UG as compared to machining. Now you might say, in machining, don't we have rubbing and ploughing? In machining, please try to understand, your depth of cut is 2 millimeter. Your uncut chip thickness is 0.2 millimeter. So they are much larger than grinding. So rubbing, ploughing, they do occur in machining as well, but they occur to a much lesser extent. There is one more catch, that is your rake angle. Rake angle in machining is positive, slightly positive to slightly negative, plus 6 degree to minus 6 degree. Someone might say this can be plus 20 degree, yes, but in case of grinding, this is minus 60 degree, which once again promotes a lot of ploughing and rubbing instead of cutting. So these are the reasons for which grinding specific energy is large, and it gradually decreases with downfeed. Now there is an empirical relationship. That empirical relationship I have written. That empirical relationship is something like this, that UG versus A is something like this, where UG is UCH plus U0 into A to the power minus X. UCH is specific chip formation energy. There is a rule of thumb, UCH is roughly E by 14, where E has to be in GPa, and this number, when you divide it by 14, comes out to be in joule per millimeter cube. So E for steel is roughly 210 GPa. So if you divide that by 14, it roughly becomes 15 joule per millimeter cube. These are all approximate number. For steel, UCH is taken as 13.6 joule per millimeter cube. For most of the problems, I will give it as 15 because it is easy to handle. Even if you are having a calculator, no one is trying to test how good you are in handling a calculator. We are trying to impart some other knowledge. So we, instead of 13.6, I will give 15 as in most of the problems. But whatever has been given, you have to use it. This is the empirical relationship of specific grinding energy with downfeed. Now let us try to solve a problem. So this is Vs equal to 50, Vw is 6, Bs is 25, Bw is 10. It is a plant surface grinding operation. Two values of UGs are given. One is 25, 75, another is 25. This is at 5 micron. This is at 50 micron. UCH is given as 15 joule per millimeter cube. So you have an equation that you have to find out. You have two unknown, one is U0 and X. You have two sets of data. UCH is already given as 15 joule per millimeter cube. So what you have to determine is that MRR, when A is 20 micron, how much is the value of UG and how much is the value of FT. So please solve this particular problem and come back to us. So what I will do is that I will not participate here. I will just take a break of 5-6 minutes and I'll come back after 6 minutes. And in the meantime, what I would request you is that solve this problem and I will join you after 5 minutes.
Sir,
Sir, please, can you please show the slide again?
Yes, I'll show the slide. I'm trying to do something else. Yes, not this one. Yes, the slide is here. So you please solve it. After I come back, I'll ask how you have solved it. You will try to solve it together. I am feeling a bit thirsty, so I'll just have a glass of water and come back. Yes, so can we rejoin please? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So if you have already done it, please keep it with yourself. I'll ask for it. So first one I can write down. I don't know. So this was 75 equal to 15 plus u0 into my downfeed was 5 micron, so 5 to the power minus x. This was 25 equal to 15 plus u0 into 50 to the power minus x. So this will become 60 equal to u0 by 5 to the power x. I am just putting that minus x on this direction, and this would becomes 10 equal to u0 50 to the power x. So if I combine this, it becomes 60 by 10 equal to 50 by 5 to the power x. This will give me a value of x. How much would be the value of x? 0. Please take your mic around 3-4 inches away from your mouth and tell me 0.778. In such a situation, it is better to keep it till the third decimal place. Once you do that, what happens? u0 can be calculated from this particular equation, 60 into 5 to the power 0.778. So u0 becomes 209.9. What is its unit? Its unit is very difficult to find. This is an empirical equation. Try to understand. This unit is in joule per millimeter cube. This is downfeed. This is micron. You have put it in micron. So x is 0.77. So its unit is complicated. Someone might have solved the same problem using this particular one, and they would not get a wrong answer. What he could have done, someone might have said, I am dead against using this kind of unit system, so I'll write it like this in SI unit. And he could have proceeded using the same thing. He would have got x equal to 0.778. Only thing is that his u0 would have been different. That does not mean that his u0, even if it is different from this approach, would have given him the final wrong answer. So let us find out ug at 20 micron. So that would be 15 plus 209.9 into 20 to the power minus 778. Is there anyone who has got 778?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. So now you need to tell me how much is this?
35.4.
35.4.
So 35.4 is good. 35.4 joule per millimeter cube. So this is our answer number 2. So already this you have done, which is 35.4. How do I get MRR? MRR is VW into BW into A. VW is 6 meter per minute, which is nothing but 100 millimeter per second. So this is 100 into, this is 0.2, and I will put this as 25. Is that fine? Is that fine? Is my whatever have I written, is it correct? Hello? Have I written the expression of MRR correct? Have I put the values correctly?
Yes, sir. BW.
Which is 10?
BW.
Why is it 10? This is 10. Why is it 10? Because you are doing plant surface grinding. It is not traverse surface grinding. And in case of plant surface grinding, it would be dictated by this. So this becomes how much? 20? Is it 20?
Yes, sir.
So if it is 20, so this is also done. Now you have to calculate FT. For calculation of FT, FT into Vs is equal to Ug into MRR, which is FT equal to Ug was 35.4 joule per millimeter cube into 20 millimeter cube per second. So this millimeter cube cancels out, and Vs is 50. So please tell me how much is the value of FT.
14.16.
14.16. So this is using this particular empirical equation and solving a problem like this. This I call as a giveaway problem. So this is a slow speed full toss on your right hand side or just above your hip, which has to be hit for a 6 over the boundaries. So this is a giveaway question. This kind of questions will come in your quizzes, and that you have to put beyond the boundary as a 6 and get full marks. So this I have solved in the class. You people have solved, and this kind of things would be repeated, and this approach would be taken for solving most of the problems that will come, because this is the basic essence that we will follow. Now there are certain concepts that I have not explained, so let us explain them. So this I have not yet done. Grinding chips and their analysis, this I have not done. Mechanism of chip formation I have done. What is shearing, what is rubbing, what is plumbing I have done. Shearing I have not used the word. This is nothing but chip formation, due to micro cutting, action of the chip, of the grids. This I have done. Other sources of energy consumptions, this I will do as we have explained earlier. What happens when the wheel wears out, what happens when there is a wheel loading, this we will discuss in the corresponding chapter. Mechanism of super abrasive grinding, this I have not done, that I am going to do now. Grinding forces and specific energy modeling, that is the empirical modeling that we have discussed. Effect of parameters on forces and specific energy, that I have done. What is the effect? Ug will go down as A increases. This is the basic effect that we have done. What is grinding cycle and modeling and analysis of grinding cycle, I will not do today. So what has not been done, this mechanism of super abrasive grinding, this I'll do. This I'll simply indicate how to do that. Let me see. So keep it. Let me introduce 2 blanks or 3 blanks. Let us see. This is super abrasive grinding. So why the pen goes? Super abrasive grinding, conventional grinding. This means your grit materials are alumina and silicon carbide, and here it means this is cubic boron nitrides or diamond. The edge radius for alumina and silicon carbide is rather high. It is as much as 10 micron and beyond for a grit diameter of 150 micron. What is grit diameter? This is a grit, roughly this is the grit diameter. However, for CBN and diamond grit, things are much more sharp. They are much more sharper, and edge radius can be as low as 2 micron. Now, so what? It impacts two things simultaneously. One is EPR, another one is EPL. If your grits are sharper, EPL would also be less. What about EPR? EPR was FT integral ds from A to D, and this FT was mu times Fn. Sigma n was Kn times Hi divided by Re to the power x. If Re is smaller, this would be arrived much earlier for smaller Hi. If your Hi is small, that means length of AD is small. If length of AD is small, primary rubbing is taking place over smaller distance, thus EPR would be less. If EPR is less, in that particular case, UG would also be less. So this is the basic of super abrasive grinding. In case of super abrasive grinding, UG is less as compared to conventional grinding. Why is it so? Because primary rubbing and ploughing, they are less predominant. Why they are less predominant? Because Re is small. So this is that particular part. There is one more interesting thing that I am going to discuss. I have indicated that UCH is roughly E by 14. People say this is for low carbon steel, and area under this curve has a particular meaning. What is that? Toughness. So this is the amount of energy that the material has to absorb before failure. Now it is related to this E. This E is nothing but this particular slope. So if your E is more and your sigma y is more, that is yield strength, its toughness would be more provided this EPL is more. So roughly there is a philosophical match between this area. I am not saying this is equal to this area, absolutely not. But there is a philosophical match like this. If your material is having higher elastic constant, this would be same. There is one more philosophical thing that I would like to discuss. These are not 1:1 mathematical thing. These are philosophical thing. If your material is more elastic, its Young's modulus is more, it is more stiffer, your grinding specific energy requirement would be higher. And there is a philosophical match between this area under the curve, which will call as toughness, and UCH. I am not saying physically or mathematically they are same. Please do not accept that message. But philosophically they are same. There is one more philosophical message. That is even more interesting. This is really very difficult. I am not so bad at drawing, particularly I hope my dual degree students will tell that that my drawings are not so lousy, but I cannot really control this pen. So this point from A to B is called the contact length. This contact length is root over ADS. This I will explain or derive later on. For the time being, you take it as ADS. Let us say my DS is 225 millimeter. I never use 225. There is a reason for that. And A is 40 micron. So please calculate my contact length. Can you do that for me? How much is it? Is it 300? This is in millimeter, this is in micron, so it is 0.04 millimeter.
3 mm.
3 mm. So I took this as 225 just to arrive at this 3 mm. Now this is rotating in this direction in ns. Now Vs, let us say it is 60 meter per second. So when it is moving from this point A to point B, let us assume the time taken is tau. So this tau is nothing but LC divided by Vs. So please find out how much is this. Why is it taking so much of time? T millimeter by 60,000. How much is it?
0.05.
0.0005.
Arey Baba, what is the unit? Light. What is the unit?
0.05 millimeter per second.
This is in please wait. This is in millimeter. This I have to express it in millimeter per second, so it will come out in second. If the number is so lousy, we cannot express it in second, we would express it in millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond, picosecond. So please tell me in appropriate unit. This is basically 3 divided by 60,000. So it is 1 upon 20,000.
50 microseconds.
How much?
50 microseconds.
How large is that number? 50 microsecond. Is it a very small time interval? Okay. It is a very small time interval. Now I am a manufacturing man. I have always been in manufacturing, but now I'll try to give you an example of something else. Can you differentiate from time duration point of view between adiabatic process and isothermal process?
Adiabatic are very slow.
Adiabatic processes are very slow.
Sorry, isothermal.
Isothermal are very slow. Adiabatic process, what is the heat transfer across the control volume?
Zero.
Zero. So the chance of heat transfer would increase if you give it enough time. So
Yes, sir.
we have to calculate one more thing which would be very, very interesting, and that calculation is something like this. I'll write down something and ask you what is it. The symbols that I am going to use, they are standard symbol. So what is this quantity? There are two terms, term 1 and term 2. What are they? What is this term 1?
Hello, sir. It is sensible.
Sensible heat means what? Please can you explain that to a manufacturing man?
That is heat supplied to raise the temperature.
Raise the temperature from ambient temperature to melting temperature. And what is this term?
Melting temperature.
What could be this term?
It is a latent heat term.
So once you reach the melting temperature, this much amount of energy has to be provided to melt it. What is its unit? What is its unit? So rho is kg per meter cube. This is Kelvin and this is joule per kg per Kelvin. So this kg cancels out. This kk cancels out. So the unit becomes joule per meter cube. So this is nothing but U melt. This is the energy required to melt any item adiabatically. So in grinding, melting does not take place. It has been shown by observing the grinding chips that melting doesn't occur. However, this melting energy, adiabatic energy of melting, they are uncannily close to, once again this is not equal to, this is close to UCH. Okay, so these are the two concepts that I have explained. UCH, what is UCH that I have explained earlier? What is it? I'll reiterate. UCH is specific chip formation energy in grinding. UCH is independent of A. UCH is E by 14. if this is expressed in GPa and the whole thing is expressed in joule per millimeter cube. So all those things. Other things that we have indicated, that UCH with relation with E and toughness, there is a philosophical connect. There is another philosophical connect. UC between UCH and U melt. Why this philosophical connect is there? This is the adiabatic energy, and here chip formation time is very, very small. So there is a philosophical connect between these two. Now there is an announcement. For that announcement to make, I request some space. On coming Tuesday, we would be having a quiz. There would be 6 to 8 such quizzes. This quiz would be of 12 hours, 1 hour duration. The quiz would in fact open at this time and close at this particular time. You have to appear in this quiz using Microsoft Teams credentials. Before 11:59 on Tuesday, before that, the quiz thing would not open. What is the content? What is the coverage of the quiz? Whatever we have covered till today is part of your quiz. This is the first thing. I am not giving you the date because I do not want to make a mistake. Coming Saturday, that is today is a Saturday, there would be another quiz. That quiz would be from 9:30 to 10:30. All your evaluation would be through quizzes. So if you miss a quiz, I cannot compensate for it. It cannot be compensated by assignments or something. Assignments will also come. So primarily your evaluation would be based on quizzes and assignments. So take necessary logistical precautions so that you can appear in quiz. Next thing is that, are they open book test? They are 100% open book test. You can refer to any internet material, you can refer to my videos and everything, but see, when I am giving you 1 hour material, typically the time would be short. So please try to keep that in your head. This quiz would have 60 marks. This quiz would have 100 marks. At the end of the course, maybe we would have 900 marks, and whatever you get based on that and assignment, you would be graded. So these quizzes are important, and it is very important that you participate in them. So now what I will do is that I will take your attendance. For taking your attendance,
Sir, there is a MCQ.
no, this could be MCQ, this could be numerical question. Say for example, today you have calculated, today we have solved a problem. There were 3 things you were asked to solve. One is MRR. Okay, I do not remember how much was the MRR, possibly 20 millimeter cube per second. So you have to write down, it is find out material removal rate in MRR, in millimeter cube per second. So you have to write it as 20. There would be a range given. That range you will not get to know. For auto correction, the range would be there. So if you give from 19.5 to 20.5, you will get full marks. And some of them would be MCQ type. First quiz would be a combination, I believe, and the second quiz would be primarily both of them is a combination, numerical plus MCQ. And numerical means I could have given 4 values and you would have to choose one. So for some questions I have done that, for some questions I haven't done it. So be prepared with your calculators and everything. If you have questions, please ask me once I take the attendance. Vinith? Shiva Shankar? Kailash?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Harsh? Harsh? Patel?
Yes, sir, present.
Yes, sir, present.
Shantanu?
Present, sir.
Ashok?
Present, sir.
Ankit?
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
Anup Kumar Singh?
Present.
Anup Kumar Singh? Anup Kumar Singh? Muralidhar? Muralidhar? Muralidhar was present after happening. Muralidhar is there. Why is he not responding? Muralidhar?
Sir.
Ritesh?
Present, sir.
Yes, sir, present.
Yes, sir, present.
Girish?
Present, sir.
Present.
Gajanan?
Present, sir.
Durganand?
Present, sir.
Rohitash? Sarjil?
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
Just a minute. Okay, fine. So if you have any questions regarding quiz, please ask me. Shiva Shankar, what happened to your mic? So happy? What has happened to your mic? Okay. Please get it mended. Okay. Please check. Once again, Shunil, Harsh, are you there? No, I do not find him. Achha, if you have any question, please ask because you might have a class once again. If you have any questions regarding the regarding your quizzes, please ask me or else I will terminate the meeting. Okay, thank you so much.